Rich people don't worry about where their next meal is going to come from or if they'll be able to make rent on Friday, but these are caused by a direct lack of money. Rich people use their money to build infrastructure around themselves so they don't have to deal with many of the problems that common people do. If these apply to you, you know that you've made it. Here are 15 things the rich don't have to do. Welcome to Alux, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Wait in line. When you're rich, you don't have to wait in line for anything. You don't wait in line to get the new iPhone. You don't wait in line to get into the club. You don't wait in line at the restaurant. You don't wait in line to go through security or board a plane like everybody else. Believe it or not, you don't even wait in the waiting room when you go to the hospital. Wealth allows you priority access. Like museums, if you pay a little bit more, you get to skip the line. If you pay even more, you get a private showing tailored just for you. Carry a coat or a bag around. This is one of those things that immediately seems odd to you when you meet actually wealthy people. Even in the winter, they just have their inside clothes on and their credit card glued to their phone. Why? Because they've got a driver that takes them everywhere they want to go. The car is outside, so they're going from one climate-controlled environment to another climate-controlled environment. They don't need to carry things on them because they're not going for a picnic. Stop any poor person and in their bag you'll find an entire universe of tools and products and knickknacks that could only come in handy in specific situations. Buy tickets of any kind. You don't buy bus tickets because you don't really ride the bus. You Uber, or at most you walk to your destination because you live in the city center. You've got a concierge that does all of these things for you, so you just let them know what you want to happen. You don't buy tickets to shows, you don't buy airline tickets, and most certainly you don't buy lottery tickets because your parents taught you very early on that the lottery is a tax for people who don't know math. Look at the price tags on the menu. When you're poor, you know exactly how much you can afford to spend on the rare occasion you get to eat out, and there's usually a lot of real-time math happening when you're ordering with the group. That doesn't happen for rich people. If dessert is going to happen or not is a matter of how they're feeling, not how much it costs. They don't need to check the prices on the menu because almost all restaurants have a cap on just how much food is going to cost. For example, the tasting menu at a Michelin star restaurant costs on average $500 a person. With wine pairings and maybe the caviar bonus, you close in on $1,000 a person. That's the ceiling. So if you're comfortable with the ceiling, anything below it doesn't really matter. There are two exceptions for this, and here we enter the connoisseur level. Even rich people start to care about the price tag when you enter a realm designed to milk dry their demographic, the high-end clubs. Cirque du Soleil in London, Namos in Mykonos, you know, the kind of places where you have bottles priced at over $100,000. But those are usually reserved for special occasions. Even the richest people know to never spend over $500,000 on a birthday. Jet, hotels, and clubs included. Pay bills or do any administrative work themselves. Most rich people have no idea how much the water, electricity, or internet cost. It usually gets all bundled up into what's considered living expenses, with all the administrative work put on auto payment or more often than not paid up front for the entire year. Basically, rich people behave like they're a company. They are the CEO setting the direction for their lives and focusing on the most important aspects, and then you've got your executive suite that makes sure all things run the way they're supposed to. This leaves them disconnected from most people as they don't realize the anxiety of having a reoccurring payment eat up a good chunk of their income on a consistent basis. Take calls. Rich people overwhelmingly text. Unless you're someone really important and calling about an urgency you texted about earlier, well, chances are receiving a call is seen as bad manners. Why? Because you're taking up their time. These days, rich people do deals over text or at most leave voice messages. They would rather meet with you in person than to talk over the phone because if they block the time off either way, they might as well make it enjoyable too. The older generation still appreciates a phone call on their birthday though. Have breaking anxiety. For rich people, when something breaks, the only thing they experience is the inconvenience of having to replace the item or the fact they might not be able to use it at the moment. They don't experience the feeling of anxiety associated with the fact that if something is a little bit more expensive, they might not be able to afford to repair it and they'll be left without. This is why rich people don't put a case over their iPhone or have a screen protector. For them, these kinds of goods are utilitarian, not a status symbol like they are for poor people. Go to a laundromat. Most people who are born into wealth have never gone to a laundromat in their lives because they either had staff or, at the bare minimum, owned a washing machine at home. Also, laundromats seem to be more of a US thing. We feel that although you can find them here and there in other countries, it's not all that common to take your clothes out of the house to wash them. But what the rich do use more is dry cleaning services. You wear a dress or a suit, it goes into the worn pile, and later you get it back folded and cleaned. And speaking of clothes, you can tell if someone is rich by whether or not they use cleaning services at hotels. The hotel offers to wash your clothes for you, but there's something about paying a little bit more for a service you usually do yourself for free that keeps a lot of people from doing it. Micromanagement of funds. When you're rich, you don't have to do the financial gymnastics associated with spending $150 to cover the rest of the week. When you're not rich, there's an entire microeconomy happening around you, where this person owes you $75, so you know you have that coming in on Thursday. If you don't go out this weekend, you should be okay until Wednesday when you get your next paycheck. If you know, you know. Rich people don't have to do that. They don't start a free trial and then immediately cancel it, or create multiple emails so they can get more free trials. They don't read books as scanned PDFs on a monitor when the actual book is just $15. This idea of micromanaging or caring about the smaller purchases is not something they concern themselves with. You pay what you pay because you want it now. Of course, this wouldn't be possible if you didn't already know a lot more money is always coming in, which brings us to the next point. Be the expert in order to take more money. It's true what they say that it's easier to make money when you have money, especially when you have a lot of money. Why? Well, there's a difference in approach. To get rich, you have to take a lot of risk with a little bit of money. When you are rich, you take very little risk with a lot of money. If you have money, you can make fairly safe investments over and over again and just spend the interest. You also have wealth managers who are keeping an eye open for opportunities on your behalf. And usually it's creative plays that poor people don't know anything about. What common people do for pleasure, rich people do for profit. Here's how that works. Common people buy a bag as a fashion accessory or for utility purposes. Rich women buy an Hermes bag that doubles in value the second they walk out of the store and keeps increasing in value over time. And it's the same with art. Most poor people think the rich buy art in order to launder money or to flex on their other rich friends. But if you look more carefully, art has been one of the vehicles that rich people consistently use to build even more wealth, because on average, it outperforms other popular investments like real estate or the S&P 500. And as we said, you don't have to be an art expert to make money in art. What rich people do is they join other private investors with a verified track record, and they enjoy the ride. In the past, you had to be a millionaire and know someone on the inside to take advantage of returns in the art market, but not anymore, my friend. Masterworks is a platform that allows everyone to invest in art. They find and purchase blue-chip art that they believe will appreciate in value. They split the ownership of each painting into shares like the stock market does with companies. As an investor, you can invest in those shares. Once the painting is sold, the profits from the sale get distributed to investors. Their last 15 sales all return profits to their investors. $10,000 invested in Banksy or condo would have made you over $3,000 in profit. Now, normally there's a waiting list to have access to these opportunities, but since Masterworks is a friend of the channel and kind enough to sponsor this video, if you go to Alux.com/art right now, or click the link in the description, you can skip the waiting list and get in touch with someone right on their team that can walk you through it. That's Alux.com/art. Take a second job. Rich people get jobs for the experience or to get an inside look of how things happen, unlike most people who need it for survival. This means there are no incentives or pressures put on your lifestyle when you would need a second job. So they don't have to deal with the struggle of juggling the attitudes of bosses, coworkers, and so many customers. They don't know what it's like to rush from one job to the next or get the night shift to supplement your income. Have to choose between essential items. When you're rich, you just get both. There's no such thing as, do I pay the phone bill or do I walk to work? The idea that you would still need something but not be able to afford it is alien to them. We're talking about things you actually need, not just the things you want. If you need an outfit for an event, you just buy it. If it's really expensive or you'll never wear it again, you rent it. If you're really rich and can carry influence, they'll give it to you for free just so that people see you wearing it. Maintenance or refills. Rich people don't take their cars for maintenance, waiting while the mechanic checks everything and comes back with an estimate. They've got insurance, they're fully covered, someone else comes, takes their car, and brings it back. They don't have to lift a finger. If you're wealthy, you personally never even shop for gas. There are services that will come and refill your car with gas wherever your car is. And it's the same with getting it cleaned. You just wake up and your car is sparkling in the garage. This happens with lawn work, home maintenance, and everything else that most common people do by hand. You just price it all out into the lifetime cost of ownership. Worry about survival if they quit their job. They're not chained to a workplace. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, meaning they can simply not afford to quit their job or be fired. That means they'll put up with more, work longer hours if they have to, because they need the job. Rich people don't need the job, so if anything is shady in terms of unfair treatment, they bounce. Deal with travel limitations or restrictions on movement. Rich people don't have to worry about a visa. Almost every country allows rich individuals to purchase a passport through what's called a golden visa program. So basically, you make an investment in the country somewhere between $250,000 to $500,000, and they give you a passport. Rich people don't change their lives according to travel windows because they're not waiting for a deal on an airplane ticket. If they need to fly out on a Friday, they buy whatever tickets available that gets them there the fastest. You need to get off an island because a hurricane is coming, or your child is sick and you need to get home? Well, you pay $25,000 for the jet and you're out of there within the hour. While for common people, the cost of travel is part of the budget, strictly from a movement perspective, rich people don't care about it, mostly because travel is a deductible expense, so their business pays for it. Now, we want to keep things going, and we know you've met rich people in your life, so what are some other things that rich people don't have to do? What should we add to this list? Let us know in the comments. And since you took the time to watch this until the very end, here's your bonus. They have access to the most efficient and effective advice. Rich people can afford the high-level therapists. They can also afford nutritionists, personal trainers, and yoga instructors. They can go to relationship coaches and personal brand experts to improve their image. When it comes to their professional life, they have performance coaches keeping them not only on track, but challenging them to consistently evolve. This entire human infrastructure costs them over $100,000 a year. And at Alux, we believe in bringing luxuries that only rich people have access to the masses, which is why we pay these experts on your behalf and give you the same quality of advice and mentorship for 1,000 times less money. That is how the Alux app came to be. So far, we've spent close to $1 million on content and the development of a platform that will have the largest transformational impact on your life. For only $99 a year, you can evolve at the same pace ultra-rich people do. We could honestly charge a $10,000 membership fee, and the value you get out of it would have been worth it. But we know what it's like to start at the bottom. So go to Alux.com/app and download it now. It'll be the most valuable tool in your future. We've set a goal for ourselves to make 1,000 millionaires through the app, and we hope you'll be one of them. Also, the app will get a massive update in the next 2 weeks, and the monthly subscription price will increase if you join later. So get the $14.99 a month option or go for the full year before then. If you want to get into a position of life where you no longer have to do all of the things you don't want to do or don't like to do, write the word design in the comments. Let's see how many of you are busy designing the life you want.